Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are listening to this YouTube experience. This is the big interview, and today I'm joined by Susan Slows, all the way from America. Susan is an accredited, endorsed member of ours, and we're proud to have her as part of our association. What does Susan do? Well, I'll make sure I don't steal too much of her thunder, but just to give you a brief introduction on what Susan brings, is she works with women in the main, but will work with men who struggle with things like gut health, IBS especially, because IBS can really hold you back, especially under a flare up. And the last thing we want to do is let things like IBS control the rest of our life. Susan Slows, lovely to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for interviewing me today, Sean, and having me on your program.
Thank you very much. Right, well, listen, everyone listening in to our YouTube channel today is going to probably want to know a little bit more deeper and more meaningful reasons why they should be listening in. So let's just go back a little bit from where you are today, and let's start a little bit before that. And may I ask you, what was the journey? How, you've obviously gone through different, you've had different careers in your life. What was the journey that, or the key moment maybe even, that brought you to do what you do today?
Well, ever since I was a child, I would say I had stomach and gut issues. And doctors and parents and other family members, they could never understand what was going on with me. It's like, why does she do this? What's wrong with her? Why does she always not feel good when she eats or goes somewhere or does this or that? So it really got severe when I was probably, I'd say, in middle school, junior high school. And every doctor said, you probably have a spastic colon, which is the former name for irritable bowel syndrome, IBS. But they couldn't do anything about it. So, you start eliminating foods and thinking, well, that makes me not feel good. This makes me not feel good. I just won't eat it. Well, it goes away for a while and then it would rear its ugly head again. And the years passed and I graduated college. I became an accountant first for 10 years. And, the condition would come and go and come and go. And same effects, not feeling good, my not wanting to get together, go out, do things, a whole lot. And then I decided accounting really wasn't for me. I was kind of bored with it. And I went back and I became an elementary school teacher, which I did for 30 years. Same kind of things. Even worse when you're a teacher because you can't always go find a bathroom when you need one.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
this is a big thing with people that have this condition. They're always looking around mapping out bathrooms. Okay, if I go here, where's the nearest bathroom? That's a big, big concern that I hear from clients. So anyway, went through the 30 years, felt better for a while, go away, come back, go away, come back. I finally got to the point, even after I retired as a teacher, I'm going to study and I'm going to find out what people with digestive health do for these conditions or other things. And it was just for me.
Yeah,
And
that's
I did. I
understandable.
studied for a whole year. And about 9 months into that year, before I got my certification as a health coach, I said, why not pay this forward since I feel so much better and help other women? And yes, like you said, occasionally men who have this, I would help them too, and become a health coach and start my own business to help others feel better and be able to live their lives without IBS making every decision for them. So that is the journey. That's how I got here.
So it started off on a personal experience,
Yes.
led into working between the work regimes and trying to work through that, having good days and bad days, understanding that you're not the only one that would be having good days and bad days because there's other people having the same
Oh
problems as
gosh.
yourself,
Mhm.
and then decided to go and for yourself initially to just get a better understanding, start to live life to the full, and then thought, hang on a minute, I could pay this forward to others. That what a lovely, lovely backstory. Thank you so much, Susan. That's really lovely of you. Um, okay, so my next question really is that's the journey, and now we know how you got here. What's it like being a health coach, and what's it like looking after those people that have come to you, and for those yet to come to you? What is a day in the life of Susan Slows when she's working with clients?
Well, I love what I do. I love working for myself. I really do because I worked for 40 years for other people and I didn't even know what it was like to do that. It's a wonderful feeling to be your own boss, to have your own small business, which I love. And when people come to me with this, they're usually pretty fed up by then, trying different things that maybe work for a while and then they don't. Or whatever they've been told to do is so complicated that they give up. They say, I just can't sustain this with my lifestyle. So, what makes me different is that I walk beside the client, I hold their hand, I hold them accountable. It's client led. I don't tell people, do this, this, and this, and you'll feel better. No. We talk, I ask a lot of questions, I listen a lot more than I speak. They tell me what's going on. And if they decide to work with me, then we come up with a plan together that fits their own lifestyle. None of this is a one size fits all approach that they might get by Googling. You know,
Mm,
Google's not going to walk beside you or adjust your plan when life gets too busy and you feel like quitting.
mm. No,
I
that's right.
encourage, I hold you accountable because there are things the client has to do. The coach can't do them for the client. So the
Mm,
client has to be held accountable, and you don't get beat up if you miss a week and you don't do what we agreed on. We say,
mm.
well, what got in your way? How can we adjust this so that it's more feasible and sustainable for your lifestyle?
I think that's
So,
really important in a business, especially. I mean, obviously at any time, but schedules, work schedules, life schedules have become sometimes chaotic because it's just so much going on. People are spinning so many plates. And then to try and sort of fit something in, a little bit like, I suppose, the, uh, the New Year resolution. Oh, don't go there with New Year's resolutions.
yeah.
Don't do them. I really don't do them.
Oh, you know what? They don't last. Even if you try them, forget about it.
Yeah, exactly. I find a lot of people, they start off with all the good intentions, but again, life gets in the way. It soon gets put under, swept under the carpet, and of course, what you're doing is allowing that flexibility
Yes,
to allow the people to continue at the pace they want to continue, rather than setting it as a strict regime. Which I think
exactly,
that's really, really good because from
exactly.
one month to another, one week to another, some things in people's lives can take over. And of course,
Absolutely.
we need to be adjustable and accountable, but we need to
Right,
be able to adjust things so that we can still maintain what we're
right,
putting in without it being a challenge or a chore for people.
right. Now, I'm not a weight loss coach, but I like to use that as an example to back up what you just said
Hmm.
because it goes with it. People that start a diet for whatever reason, they want to lose a few pounds. Well, they start doing it, they lose weight. But then, well, how do I stay this way? How do I keep from gaining it back? See, there's no peace there. There's
No.
no maintenance on a lot of these diets.
Yeah, yeah.
Keep it that way. So they say, I give up. And then they gain all the weight back and then some.
Of course.
I'm not saying it happens to everybody,
No. But it
but
does happen to many.
people I've known, they've gained and lost the same, let's say 25 pounds 5 times. You do the math.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, up, down, up, down. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
very
the
true.
same
And I think,
thing. So there's ways of keeping you sustainable here.
yeah,
There's, the first part of the program we helped to get people to see that they can be helped with this. There are ways to do this and kind of stabilize it, and then there's deeper work to
to
keep it
maintain it.
going, to
Yeah.
make it more sustainable. So there are four pillars that I cover is nutrition, exercise, stress management, and sleep. But for every client, those four pillars are different.
I love the bespoke attitude towards what you're bringing, and it's very bespoke to each client. And I really love the fact that that's got that flexibility built in, because people need that. It's about, from me, 2019. I got married in 2019. Happily married.
Right.
Just celebrated our seventh anniversary. But I remember about 6 months after the wedding, I sat down and looked back at the photos that were taken professionally by one of our members, and I looked at myself and I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was like, oh my word, how big do I look? And I was heavy. I was very, very heavy. And at that time, and it wasn't a New Year's resolution, but I looked at it. It was a shock factor. I looked at myself and went, oh, I don't like the look of myself that big. That's terrible. Do I really look that big? Looking down at myself, thinking, well, I haven't changed. If anything, I've put a bit more weight on.
Yeah.
I should do something about that. And I went on a certainly, I wouldn't say health. I like to live my life, but I certainly started eating more consciously, eating the right foods, taking advantage of walking rather than walking into places rather than jumping in the car. Took up football again, started playing football regularly, and I also had a personal trainer who helped me go through that early stage of getting that weight loss down. And through his coaching on the food element side of it, portion sizes, things like that, and what to eat, what not to eat. Not necessarily saying that he understood my gut, but he certainly understood my enjoyment of food.
Yeah.
The started to lose the weight, and I've maintained the level of. I lost 4 stone, and I've kept that 4 stone off over a period of 7 years. So I'm really chuffed with myself, but that was habit forming, and I needed to create the
Yes.
habit
Yes.
before I could create the longevity of being able to do it. I'm not the healthiest person in the world. I like to do things that other people would go, oh no, don't have a beer, or I don't do this, I don't smoke, I do this. Listen, I'm not the pinnacle of health. I know that. But the things that I made sure that I wanted to adjust, I adjusted it through forming good habits and
Mhm.
maintaining those habits, and then they became natural to me. And I think that's part and parcel of the journey that you must take your people, your
Yes.
clients.
Yes. So what I want to kind of go on that, um, small, slow, sustainable habits is what I do. I'm not going to give you six things to do because you're not going to do them.
Yeah,
I give
exactly.
you one thing, one or two things at a time that you can do.
Yeah,
And even if you are the pinnacle of health, you still want to enjoy your life.
yeah,
So a lot of people will ask me, for example, well, can I never have a piece of cake again? I'm not talking about weight loss here. I'm just
no,
emphasizing I am not a weight loss coach. We
yeah,
just use you as an example of
yeah,
that. Yeah. The same principles apply, though, small, sustainable habits. Of course, you can have a piece of cake.
yeah,
Of course, you can have ice cream, as long if you have a dairy sensitivity, there's non-dairy ice creams you can eat.
yeah,
There's different things. So the small, sustainable habits are the key, and it's not an overnight approach.
no.
It's not a quick thing.
It's a journey.
It's a journey,
It's a journey. Yep.
and you have to be willing to make that journey if you want the help.
Yep. Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. Susan, it leaves me with my final question, really, because I'm sure what we've spoke about briefly today, there are going to be people listening in to YouTube and wherever this is shared, because it goes out on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. People, and of course, our other channels as well, our other social media channels. But people are going to want to know how they can get hold of you, where they can find you, where do you hang out. Now, I can see obviously you've got the logos behind you on your backdrop, so that's a pretty obvious place for people to find you. Now, just tell us where people can reach to you, so that if they need some targeted advice, some solid communication with somebody who really knows what this It seems to be becoming a growing issue with gut health, and IBS is a real difficult one to control, and obviously it can be so debilitating. If there's people listening in who need that advice and guidance from yourself, where do they find you, Susan?
Well, I hang out the majority of the time on LinkedIn and some Instagram. WhatsApp, I usually just use for communication. Facebook, I occasionally have some things because I also have a an add-on to my business where I promote health and wellness, a few products and things. But that's not my main thing. So that's mostly on Facebook. But for the IBS coaching is mostly LinkedIn. I'm also started on Pinterest. I don't have the logo up there, so they can find me under Susan Slows, or Your Digestive Health Coach is the name of my business. You can put that into it, it'll pop up.
Brilliant, thank you. And of course, you can also find Susan on our business directory within the Trusted Business Community Association's personal directory of all the trusted and accredited members that we have across the world. So, again, you can find her under the Digestive Health Coach, and look out if you type that into the search bar, you'll be able to pinpoint her actual directory listing, where you've got all of the contact details of how you can get hold of her, including her WhatsApp, including her email, and everything else. Before we say goodbye to everybody on our YouTube channel here, this has been the big interview. It's today. It's been wonderful to spend some time with Susan Slows, and also to make sure that if you listen to this one and you love, as I have loved being involved in this big interview with Susan, and you want to either save it or listen to it again, or listen to some of the other big interviews that we've already got up there with other accredited and trusted members of our community, then don't forget to like and subscribe down below, on where you'll watch this on our YouTube channel, and then follow us, because then obviously you'll get to see all of the other wonderful things and all the other wonderful professionals that we have on board here. Susan, it's been an absolute pleasure to actually be with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been really interesting. It's something very close to my heart, because, as you know, I struggle a little bit with some stomach issues. So, and we've shared that information, and I struggle sometimes and get that bearing down feeling, and it's not nice, and it does debilitate you. So, if you want the opportunity, those people listening want the opportunity to live your life to the full, free from all the worry, speak to Susan Slows. She is the IBS coach for women, and the IBS coach for the occasional man as well. She will help men, don't worry. Lovely to have you with us, Susan. Thank you so much for being here. This is
Yeah,
the big interview.
thank you, Sean.